on the phone when you call me. It's rare when a name appears. It usually just says cell phone. Really, it does. You're just cell phone. And sometimes there's a name. Well, this time the phone just rang. It's a name, and you want to hear this coming up.
You know that thing called AI? Supposed to make the workplace super efficient? Well, there's
The Rick Jenson Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
Oh, good. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually sent a couple of messages out to this guy earlier today. They're having a meeting tonight that can affect your life in really, seriously, meaningful ways. It's John Yaschur on the phone, and he's with StopTheEdgemoorPort.com. I guess it's .com, right, John?
.com, yeah.
Very good. So, yeah, I saw that you guys are having a meeting tonight, and I thought, oh, yeah, this is a big deal. I want to give you an opportunity to promote it and let people know if they want to go.
Well, tonight we're having a meeting. It's going to be at Rockwood State Park at the carriage house they have there. The meeting is going to be at 6 p.m., and if you give me 1 second, I'll give you the exact address for it. It's 4671 Washington Street Extension at Rockwood Park at the carriage house, right at 6 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the sheeted funds tonight and how the state of Delaware took money that was not theirs to start funding this port. We're going to also introduce our radio and TV commercials tonight, our billboards, our yard signs. And we're slowly moving forward on this, but it's an uphill battle. As you know, we have some people in the Senate that are interested in listening to us. Senator Dan Cruz is coming tonight. So we've got some forward motion, but we've got a long way to go to stop this thing, and that's our intent, is to stop it because it's not good for the community.
Wait a second. Back up for a second. So let me, for people who don't know, historically the purpose of the Yaschur Fund, and we're going back hundreds of years, was to save money for people if indeed their grandfather, for example, left money in a bank or a life insurance policy. And the government, which back then used to actually serve the people, not themselves, would actually put these assets into a fund and hold on to their value in some way, either the actual life insurance policy or simply a record of the value of the savings account or whatever. And then when a future heir, if you will, a descendant, would come forward and say, listen, they have this list in the newspaper, for example. And it's one way the newspaper makes any money anymore, as your tax dollars goes, to publish all of these hundreds of people who could be owed money because it's money left in the government. And then what they did during the Jack Markell administration, they said, yeah, well, you know what? We're only going to hang on to it for 3 years. In fact, if there's a bank account that you have for your kids' college and you don't do anything with it after 3 years, they'll try to take the money out of it. And that happened to some people, too. They didn't even get letters. They're supposed to send a letter to you and say, hey, we want to take this money. Is the account still active? They didn't even do that. They just took the money for a couple of people. And they got on this program, and then we made it public, and they got their money back. So that's the Yaschur Fund has changed from being something to benefit the people to being something to benefit the government. As a matter of fact, another big lawsuit was, I think, Best Buy. They had gift cards. And in Jack Markell's administration, again, they said, well, here, why don't we just steal money from Best Buy? Because, they've already sold the gift cards. People have already paid taxes on the gift cards, but people didn't use the gift cards. And so they thought that was a good excuse to steal the money from Best Buy, and they do. So Yaschur funds have become a whole different animal right now. Now it's a way to fund the bureaucracy, not really help the people that much. So when you say they want to use Yaschur funds to pay for this port extension at Edgemoor, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that from this fund, which has $500+ million in it, it's a multi-state fund.
Yeah.
The state of Delaware decided to extract $195 million from this fund to start to fund this proposed port at the Edgemoor spot. And There is so much litigation going on right now that's beyond our purview at stoptheedgemoorport.com. There are attorneys going after this. Delaware is in a load of trouble for taking this money that wasn't their money to take in the first place. So there are so many different aspects of this port, so many lawsuits being filed to stop the state from what they're doing, because, quite frankly, it sounds pretty illegal to me when it's not your money and you took $195 million out of it to fund this port, which they say will be $635 million. However, the port in Baltimore, Maryland, they said the same thing there, and that port ended up to be about $1.1 billion. So the $635 million that you're talking about to build this Edgemoor port is never going to happen that way. It's going to go over $1 billion. And so, the state can't do this. So it might be stopped legally because of this. There have been some rulings by judges. I'm not apprised to all of them. There's so much information going on right now. There's different aspects. There's the legal aspects. There's our aspect from stoptheedgemoorport.com, where this is affecting 18,000 homes directly from Edgemoor all the way up to Claymont. They're talking about over 2,000 trucks a day coming and going at that port. It's just such a mess. It's such a mess. And so tonight at our meeting at 6 p.m. at the Carriage House at Rockford Park, we're going to be talking about these, and we're going to be introducing other things. As I said, Senator Dan Cruz is going to be coming tonight. So we're getting some headway on it, but there's a long way to go on this.
Well, and then you have the dredging as well, right? Because, you got these ginormous freighters, and they go to Philly right now, as I understand. So we're not prepared for these ginormous freighters. Tell us about that.
Well, here's the thing. Each of these container ships are about 1,000 feet long. If you want to understand what that looks like, think of an aircraft carrier. That's about 1,000 feet long. And what they want to do in Edgemoor is they want to build a port that a total of two at their full capacity, will be able to come into Edgemoor and be unloaded by ILA members, the Independent Longshoremen Association. But mostly that port is going to be automated. So the amount of jobs that they're touting are going to be in there, they're just not going to be there, because the port will not be able to survive on labor alone. Every port across the world, they're putting automation in. And the reason they're doing that is because they can't survive with the labor costs and all the overhead they have as the ports. So in the Edgemoor port, what they have to do there, in order to bring these ships in, they could come up the river, but then they have to turn around. And what they want to do is they want to dredge 3.3 million cubic yards, which ends up to be 24,800 Olympic swimming pools, just to put it in some perspective, so that these ships can come and turn around. But see, here's the problem with that. If anyone goes over to Fox Point Park and watches the ships come past there, the ship channel comes way in. So when they dredge this out, first of all, 3.3 million cubic yards. There's pollution in there. There's PCBs in there. Not the whole river bottom. They want to go down 45 feet. Yeah. But in doing so, they're going to go right out into the ship's channel with this. So if the ship is coming up the river, what is that ship supposed to do? Drop anchor in the channel? They can't, because if they do, they'll end up sliding out of the channel. There's not anchorages south of here. They're going to end up dropping their anchor and going out of the channel so that these 1,000-foot ships can turn around. It's a bad idea. And then the pollution from this, and then every year on top of that, they're going to have to dredge out 150,000 cubic yards more just to keep that big hole open so the ships can turn around.
Every year?
The destruction every year. Well, the river doesn't stop flowing, so when they pull out the original 3.3 million cubic yards, every year they're going to have to dredge out about 150,000 cubic yards to keep that big hole open for the ship to turn. Let me put it in perspective. The current Port of Wilmington, they dredge out about 75,000 cubic yards of river bottom in the Christina River every year so that the ships could dock there. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that at our current port, we have 550 acres there, of which 250 acres are usable to expand the existing Port of Wilmington. At the Edgemoor site, we have 140 acres there. Now, anybody who knows anything about ports knows that you need a minimum of 180 to 200 acres to build a container port for 2 ships. But at the Port of Wilmington, if you go out to the very end of the port, there's a dock that goes out into the Delaware River from the auto car, or rather the auto boat that comes in. And they could expand all the way out there. They could put these ships out there without problems, but they keep trying to push the Edgemoor port. It's bad for the community, bad for just the air pollution from 2,000 trucks a day, the degradation to our roads.
Well, wait a second. I've also heard, and I think maybe you even mentioned, that there is acreage there at the existing port, and they could actually do all this there, right? So,
say again.
Is that there's existing acreage at the existing port right now?
Yes, 250 acres.
Where they could do all of this right now, they don't have to go to the Edgemoor area. Is that correct?
That's correct. They would have to construct a lot of it. They'd have to do landfill there and such. But the fact is that they have the available space in the existing Port of Wilmington to put the entire Edgemoor port, the proposed Edgemoor port right there. And the bottom line is, if you're ever on the Delaware Memorial Bridge and you look, if you're coming back into Delaware, you look to the right, you'll see all the land there that's available that they could build this port at. So why come here to Edgemoor? The other thing is...
Wait. Hang on. That's my question. So what then is the reason? Why do they want to be in Edgemoor as opposed to the existing Port of Wilmington? Why is it?
That's a great question.
Well, is it more accessible to these 1,000-foot freighters, or what is it?
No, it's not. It's the same accessibility. If you at the existing Port of Wilmington, you go out to the end of the port, and then there's a long dock going out to where the auto boat comes in, and they have plenty of room there. It's right on the river. There's very little they have to do. It's already deep water out there. Yeah. They may have to do some dredging there, but the bottom line is they have all the property they need. They have infrastructure there. They have the space there. So why are you building it in Edgemoor? There's so much politics involved with this that it stinks.
Really, you think so? What about road access for all the trucks?
Well, that's another problem. The Edgemoor, Dave Ennis, when he was state representative, he was here in District 6 for 27 years. And when Dave engineered and was the point man for building the Edgemoor interchange, that was built to revitalize Merchant Square. However, with 2,000 trucks coming in and out of the proposed Edgemoor port today, where are they going to go? Are they going to go on 495? Are they going to go on Edgemoor Road? Are they going to go on Governor Prince? Are they going to go on all the local roads in North Wilmington? Absolutely. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to stage themselves? There's Hay Road. There's Governor Prince. And this whole other problem. Where do you put 2,000 trucks a day? So we don't have the infrastructure. And what is the state going to do about it? Nobody seems to know.
And that's why you guys are having all these meetings like tonight's.
Well, yeah, that's why we're having this meeting tonight. We're doing it because we can't hold the load of the trucks coming in. Nobody wants 2,000 trucks rumbling through our neighborhoods every day of the week, 24/7. I mean, they're talking 400,000 containers coming in here every single year.
Wow,
that's a lot of containers. I got
this guy I know named Smart Bob. He started calling me years ago, and I realized
I remember him.
Yeah, he's a real smart guy. That's why I call him Smart Bob.
Yeah, he's Smart Bob.
Yeah, he's Smart Bob. He's on the phone right now. John Bob. Bob, what do you want him to say?
Hi, John, I have a question. When I lived in Brandywine 100, I paid attention to a few things up there. And one of the things I learned about is bananas. And so we are, I think, the third largest banana port now in the world because banana companies like to have ports, they select ports that don't have a lot of traffic because, they got bananas. So my question is, have the banana companies signed off on the Edgemoor?
Absolutely not. They have nothing to do with Edgemoor. And the reason, Bob, your question's a great one. And the reason that they cannot nor will they sign off on the Edgemoor port is because they're looking to make Edgemoor a container port. So these like if you remember in the Suez Canal, there was an evergreen ship that went sideways and blocked the Suez Canal.
Right.
That giant container ship is the kind of ships they want to bring into Edgemoor, container ships. the banana ships you're talking about, and Wilmington, by the way, is the second largest banana port in the world. However,
stops the port, but that's okay.
well, it's number 2, and the bottom line is that the existing Wilmington port has 2 primary clients. One is called Dole pineapple and banana, and the other is Chiquita pineapple and banana.
Yeah.
And they bring in the bulk of the cargo into the port. In fact, those 2 companies float the port of Wilmington. Now, there's other products that come in there, but collectively, all of the other products that are brought into the port don't equal what Dole or Chiquita bring in. And if either of those companies ever left the port of Wilmington, it would belly up. Wow. Because what you may not know is that on an annual basis, I was just, when was it? About a week ago, I had a meeting with Senator Lawson, and we talked about this in great depth. And what people don't really realize about the port, despite the fact that we are the second largest banana port in the world, you'd think that it's a profitable port. Well, what people don't realize is that every single year we're pumping in from state taxpayer dollars $20 million into that port to float it. So why is that? And this is one of the things that Senator Lawson and myself talked about. Why are we spending all this money? And why don't we improve the infrastructure of the current port of Wilmington? There's fumigation houses there. From October to May every year, we bring in fruit from South America. But that abruptly ends in May because our fruit season starts here in May. So we have fruit coming in. We have fumigation houses because we don't want the critters that the fruit could bring with them from the foreign country. We have storage facilities there. We have everything we need in the port of Wilmington, yet we're still subsidizing it by $20 million a year of taxpayer dollars.
All right, John, so, I have a question for you. Why? Is there any answer as to why we give them $20 million?
Because they are not profitable.
All right. Bob, any additional question or comment?
Yes, I would get in writing from the 2 banana companies that they approve anything that happens in Edgemoor. If they say no, then you have to do addition by subtraction. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you're going to lose business. They will leave. That's why there's only 2 ports. They select the world as a monopoly. They have I don't want to go all into it, but all the bananas died in South America. You'll notice when you go to the store, the bananas don't taste the same way as they used to. So they're playing with fire already because banana aficionados like me say, what the heck you do with my bananas? It's my favorite.
Well, all right. Bob, let me tell you something that happened. They have just signed another contract with those companies to extend the life of those contracts. But it doesn't mean that they're going to be here forever. And I'll give you another case in point. We used to bring Volkswagens into the port of Wilmington. If you remember from 495, you'd see a slew of Volkswagens there. Volkswagen left here.
Yeah.
Why? Because they had a better offer, and they're up in Rhode Island right now. So the fact is that we don't have the customers at the port of Wilmington. Thus, we as taxpayers support it by $20 million a year.
And guys,
the fact is, why build?
Yeah, and why build us up there? I got to wrap this. Bob, I appreciate the call.
Yes, I got one more suggestion.
All right.
Contact the River Pilots Association. The people who were my neighbors in Milford when I first moved here were trying to talk to me to get my GI Bill to start flying because they pick up the pilots down in the river between Milford and Stone Beach or Stone Harbor, I can't remember, and Lewis. And it's a very tricky port to come into. It's not really for the